Alright, what is going on, guys? Wanna start out this video by apologizing for yesterday. I meant to put out a couple videos yesterday, but I ended up getting sick and pretty much passed out for the entirety of the day. So apologize for that, but I am back today and I'm gonna be bringing you an update and just generally a guide on what's going on. But so what's going on this week is I'm going to be redoing and overhauling some guides, especially my jungle guides. Just updating them, giving them a little love. And for this video is going to be a guide on basic lane mechanics for not only ADCing, but pretty much any role you want to play. And we're going to start with something very simple, beginnerish, last hitting. And we're going to go all the way from last hitting to just advanced lane mechanics. Okay, so let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit and get into some of the action. Alright, here we go. Alright, so you can see me in lane. I'm in lane with my Soraka support here. And last hitting, what it is, basically, is this right here. You wait until you can get the last final hit on the minion to kill it and get the gold for it. This gives you gold and monies for your items. And there you go. That's last hitting 101. Just wait until your minions have gotten their minions low enough to where they can, or where you can be able to hit this minion one time and get the gold. Now, second off, we're going to go on harassing. As you can see here, Vayne just harassed me, rolled forward, got a shot in on me. Well, I'm going to give you an advanced tip for harassment. If you watch your minions' HP, you're going to be able to know which minion they're going to last hit. So, let me give you a good example of this as she comes up. She knows, and if she's watching her minions, she knows that I was going to go for that one, so she's able to roll forward and get free harass on me. But basically, you're just watching your minions. You know she's going to go for this one because it's low, then this one. And pretty much what you want to do is you want to go and enable yourself to get free harass on the enemy by waiting until they come up. So if you saw there, I knew she was going to go in for that last hit, and I don't know why my camera keeps moving. And I volleyed and managed to get an auto attack off on her. This is free harassment, and it is a tool that you will see in a lot of high-level games that a lot of people just don't fully utilize like they should, which is kind of upsetting. Next, we're going to go on to tower last hitting. Tower last hitting is pretty simple. The way it works early game is your caster minions are going to get hit once by the tower, and you're able to last hit them. Whereas your defensive minions right here are going to take 2 tower shots, and then you hit it one time for the last hit. Alright, pretty simple. Next we're going to move on to pushing. A lot of people have trouble with pushing, and it's actually a very simple concept. It's when you start auto attacking the minions and causing your minions to outnumber theirs. So if you look right now, I know that given this lane and this minion wave is going to push forward because it's going to kill these. And a good way to monitor this is watch your minions versus their minions. If your minions are lower than their number of minions, then the lane is going to push this way towards you. Now, what you want to do generally early on, especially this early on, unless you have an aggressive play and a wards, which right now we have a ward right here, which is pretty much alright, but you generally want to keep it about right here. Let's see the line right here between these two brushes. That's generally where you want to keep your lane this early on in the game. Now, if you are pushing out, then I suggest you get a ward right here in this tri-bush. But generally for early, you're going to keep it anywhere from here to here, unless you're just extremely pushing. Now, when to push and when not to push. A lot of people have problems knowing when to push and when not to push. It's really quite simple. It's not hard at all. If you have the lane advantage, such as this right here, you see they have a very aggressive comp as Vayne and Nunu, that means they're probably going to push forward. And the reason they're going to push is because they're have such an aggressive comp that they can get out a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So they would want to push forward and maximize their damage. Whereas we have a very defensive comp with a Soraka and an Ashe. So them pushing actually helps us more than it hurts us. Now here you go. There's their Fiddlesticks coming in, seeing if they can get off any ganks. So because they're being so aggressive and pushing when they really shouldn't be, they end up actually making a bad play, and the Soraka ends up getting a kill. So you see, they should know automatically, since we have such a defensive comp, that pushing against us is a bad idea, because if you have an aggressive comp, such as if we were rolling a more aggressive comp, then we would be able to push. When you want to push is when you are facing a comp that does not have any source of sustain whatsoever. So the more sustain your bottom lane has that you're facing, the worse off idea it is to start pushing. Anytime you have a sustaining champion such as Taric or Soraka, generally pushing against them is not a good idea, because they're going to be able to sustain themselves, stay in lane, and out CS you. So that's pretty much all that needs to be said. If you are dominating the lane, though, however, you can push. Now, another thing, this brings us to the next point, lane resetting. Now, lane resetting is a bit more of an advanced mechanic, but right now you see that they are not anywhere near the general region. Now, what lane resetting is what I just did. You push the lane up to the tower, and you deny the bottom lane XP and gold. So they've pretty much lost out an entire wave because I pushed this to their tower and pretty much resetted it. Now they've actually lost a little bit more now because they're still not back in lane, but they are still doing work at other places. So once again, this is pretty much resetting the lane, just keeping it to where they lose out on gold and experience while I'm gaining it. So that's pretty much what lane resetting is, and you have to be careful about resetting the lane against teleport. Anything running or any comp running teleport, especially up at top. A lot of people reset the lane when it doesn't need to be reset. So best advice I can give you for that type of lane control is just watch your pushing, watch your warding. And this brings us to another point. Map awareness. This is very, very important for any hopes of lane control. Know where your wards are, know when you need to be warding what, especially as a support or just any general role that you're playing. Know where to be looking on your map at X amount of time. Very important. Always be aware of what's going on. Earlier, my jungle, like a good example, earlier my jungle was in the enemy jungle and wasn't aware that they had warded and ended up dying for it. So always know what's going on, very important. Which now brings us to another very important point. Zoning. Zoning is something that every champion needs to know how to do, and all it is simply pushing back a team to where they don't end up getting the minions gold and experience. So basically what you want to do is you want to harass far enough to where they don't get the gold or the experience that they should have. A lot of people, zoning is actually very, very simple. A best example I can give you of zoning is Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is probably the best zoner in the game simply because of his pull and displacement mechanic. And simply how you zone is to harass the enemy team, whatever lane you're in. You harass them to the point to where they have to draw back away from the minions. Now, giving you a good example of a zone would be, let me see. Let me speed it up here and get myself down the lane. Actually, you know what? I can use Vayne right here. You see that Vayne Fiddlesticks, and Nunu are in a zone right now. And I'm not sure what just happened. My looks like my replay just decided it wanted to freeze itself. Hold on. Let me see if I get this problem fixed. Oh shoot. Hopefully I can. Nope. Still completely frozen. Alright, let's try going back and see if going back fixes it. Nope, not looking like it. Alright, well. Let me just go ahead and explain this anyways. Pretty much, you see these two minions right here. These guys are within zone to where when these minions die, they are going to end up getting the gold and the experience for these two. Now, if you push them away from these minions, they're not going to get any gold or experience. How to zone is very simple. It simply requires you pushing the enemy team away from the minions so they don't get the gold or the experience for the minions' deaths or minion kills. It also keeps them from getting gold from last hitting. It generally helps you control the lane however you want to. Alright, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and stop this guide simply because the recorder has glitched. I apologize. I have no idea why it decided to glitch, but yep, that's pretty much basic lane mechanics 101 going from beginner to advanced. And yeah, thanks so much guys, and be sure to leave me some feedback and some comments, and if you like these guides, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be putting out a lot more of them.